Politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners.
I am the Rambling Madman.
I have this feeling, man, because there's a handful of people actually run everything. That's true. It's provable. It's not I'm not a conspiracy nut.
Motherfuckers are so sensitive, the whole country is turned into bitch-ass niggas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ramblings of a Madman. This is your host, Mark Ciccarella Jr., a.k.a. the Rambling Madman. Today we have episode 16, I believe. The episodes go by so fast, and I can't believe I'm already on episode 16. I'm almost at episode 20. That's pretty wild. But nonetheless, I do have a very special episode for you today. I had a friend of mine, his name is John, come on, and he started out reacting to my simulation theory episode. But we kind of spiraled off and rambled on about lots of other topics. And I think it turned out to be a very interesting conversation, and I'm excited for you guys to hear it. For those... well, as I say every episode, I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week just to hear me ramble on. Don't forget, in the episode description of wherever you're listening to this episode, there is a link to my Patreon account, my merch store, and my website. If you feel as though this podcast is something that you're enjoying each week and you want to, support the show, the Patreon is a once a month thing type of thing. It's like a subscription-based service, so you pledge $1 a month, and it'll send me $1 a month. If you want to buy some merch and support the show that way, that's awesome. I would love for you guys to do that. We have all types of different merch in there, including baby onesies. So if you have a newborn and you want to make your newborn a Rambling Madman, go ahead and get him a onesie from my merch store. We also have t-shirts, hoodies, pillows, beach towels, you name it. So again, if you want to support the show, you can do so through Patreon and my merch store. So without rambling on too much here, I want to get into the episode here, and I will see you on the other side.
Nothing changes. Fucking Nazis.
They were Nazis, dude?
Oh, come on, Donnie. They were threatening castration.
Uh-huh.
Are we going to split hairs here?
No.
Am I wrong?
Well, he didn't.
Man, they were nihilists, man.
Huh?
They kept saying they believed in nothing.
Nihilists. Fuck me. I mean, say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos.
Yeah.
All right, and welcome to the show for the first time ever. The world famous John. He's not a Jonathan, I don't think. You're not a Jonathan.
No, I'm not a Jonathan.
He's
I have a cousin Jonathan.
He's just John. Dude. He has no podcast. He's just an average Joe. He's just
yes, sir.
But I wanted to bring him on today because he is my favorite nihilist. He's my my buddy John. I don't know if you agree that you're a nihilist, but I think you're a nihilist.
I'm pretty sure I'm a nihilist.
Yeah, you're a nihilist, and so I haven't made up my mind yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a clip after my intro. It's going to be a clip from The Big Lebowski talking about nihilists, because you know how the nihilists are in the movie, and the fucking there's a scene where Donnie, Walter, and the dude are at the bar, and Walter calls the nihilists. He's like, he calls them Nazis, and he's like, and Donnie's like, wait, dude, what's he talking about? Nazis? Who's Nazis? And he's like, are we really going to split hairs here, Donnie? They were talking about castrating people. That sounds pretty. He's like, that sounds like a Nazi to me. And anyway,
yeah, I have to admit, when we
watched,
watched,
like, they were fucking nihilists. But yeah, anyway, that's probably gonna be the intro to the intro after my intro, because I've been vibing with some clips.
I'll just say I like the pumpkin intro a little bit better, but
what John is referring to is because before I started this Zoom call to start recording, I took a massive shit and it was
Massive.
I tried to explain to John like it was the consistency of pottery clay. So like imagine if you had a big clump of pottery clay, and you crafted a small pumpkin, not a minuscule.
What color was it?
But
I don't think I asked
small pumpkin, and that's about the size it was, and the color was light brown.
I don't know what that means. I'm gonna look it up real quick before we start.
Light brown.
Yeah, because
the meaning behind it.
Well, yeah, your different color.
That's not very nihilist of you.
Hold on. Bile salts are released in your stool by your liver, giving stools a brown color. If the liver is not producing enough bile, or the flow of the bile is blocked and not draining from your liver, your stools may become pale or clay colored. Having pale stools once in a while may not be cause for concern. Is it normal? All shades of brown, even green, are considered normal. That's good.
All right, yeah. So there you go. John just read you some facts on shit. Literally facts on shit. And
perfect way to start this conversation.
That was a great intro to this conversation. But also, tomorrow is 420, and yeah, are you excited for 420 tomorrow?
Of course. How can I not be? It's a national holiday.
It is a national holiday. It is also Hitler's birthday, and
I forgot about that.
Sieg Heil, and I
mean,
yeah,
you're a hell of an artist, regardless of what you say.
And but yeah, so I guess today is technically the 420 this episode's the 420 episode. This episode comes out in 422, which is also dope because if you're ever bummed out that it's not 420 anymore, don't be bummed out, because 422 is 422. Get it?
You can get it next year.
Wait 2 more days for an extra 420. And yes,
math funds. I love it. It flew over my head because I never learned how to add, but
So yeah, just to keep it woke here on Ramblings of a Madman, we have it is 420. Just keep in mind all the people who have been incarcerated over marijuana charges, and all the people who not even just marijuana in general, just drugs in general. People have been incarcerated over non-violent drug charges and have been rotting away in prisons, paying fines, stuck in poverty because of the system. Meanwhile,
which kind of blows.
Meanwhile, it is now acceptable to open a pot shop, and so all the people who've had their lives ruined for moving kilos of marijuana are now get to sit idly by, either in their prison cells or fucking while they're on probation or whatnot, as not to bring not to bring hatred into it, but like as the middle class moves into the role of selling drugs, which would be like a middle class dude who has like $300,000 sitting in his bank account. He opens a pot shop as a smart business move. No harm intended on his end.
I think it's. But I was looking into that briefly.
It's still the the main point of people who are in poverty, and the main point of them selling drugs is to get out of poverty. And now we have people who aren't in poverty opening businesses to sell drugs and become richer. And I think that's a problem. I think we need to have some reform going on there.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm a firm believer in legalize everything. Just tax it if you're going to do it, or don't. I don't like taxes, so just legalize everything and then give the government like a nice I think like 6% is still too much. Keep it at keep it lower. I want to be able to buy my shit.
How about we make tax 4.2%, 420, 420, baby.
For the holiday or in general?
No, in general.
All right, fuck it. Yeah. I'm sure some mathematician will fucking tell us we're idiots, but why not? Mathematician or like anyone that's actually educated in terms of how our economic system works. But or if you just be like, that's the perfect number. We've been researching it for years. I can't believe these two dumbasses got it by accident. So I'm leaning towards that one actually. I don't know about you.
Okay.
The magic number, 4.2%,
Yes.
100%.
Yes. All right. So
Just like the answer to the universe.
that was a
24.
good way to keep it woke here, because this episode's not necessarily going to be about conspiracy theories. So just had to drop the the wokeness in a little bit of wokeness in every episode. And,
I'm still
to
new
keep-
to the woke shit. I'll be honest.
to keep it real. Yeah, John's a firm believer in.
I'm a skeptic of anything,
He's a firm skeptic of anything
everything.
outside of his comfort zone. So, also, I'm still pissed because
Why?
on Saturday last weekend when we were going to Jimmy's house,
Yeah.
I was like, we were at your house and you're like, you told your dad, you're like, yo, can you give us a ride down to Jimmy's house so we don't have to walk? I was like, yo,
Yeah.
I'd rather walk. I mean, I just pulled up here and there was like hot bitches outside. Let's go walk, and there's all these, pretty girls outside. Let's go have a good time, walk and meet girls and shit. And you're like, oh, they're probably not out there anymore. And then,
Bro,
we get in the car, and then as soon as we get in the car, who walks by? A group of like 4 fucking girls, hot girls, young women, walking their dog.
bro,
as
I
soon as
guarantee
we
you
get
they
in
were
the
not
car and
over
start to
18.
pull
Come on now.
They were over 18. We're not.
I don't know. Will that hold up in a court of law though? That's the real question.
Moving on now.
Moving on from markets on underage girls. Yes.
No, they were not underage. Let's make
You don't
that
know
clear.
that?
All right, we don't. Okay, this is his
Bro,
nihilism.
it's Schrodinger's age.
This is his nihilism kicking in. We don't know anything, so we don't
Yo,
know that
alright.
they weren't underage. Technically, they could have
Blame
been
it on the-
5 years old, but they looked grown to me.
Pause. Whoa.
No, they fucking the
What?
Schrodinger's cat.
Dude, this Schrodinger's age.
We're
Come
fucking
on.
drunk as shit on Saturday night, and
Oh, that's fucking
at Jimmy's house, and somebody brings up Schrodinger's cat. How can a cat be dead and alive at the same time? Like, that's so weird. Like, what if you go over to somebody's house and you're like, where's your cat at? He's like, oh, he's dead and alive. He's in his box. I don't fucking know.
I tried researching it, and all I could come up with from my understanding after reading it for like 15 minutes was like, okay, so it's alive and dead at the same time in the box. And there was a whole bunch of other mumbo jumbo that I was like, I don't fucking understand this.
Well, I
So
think psychology and philosophy. That's psychology, not philosophy, but psychology is
that's a
it's a
whole
fucking-
other beast.
it's a beast in itself.
Mhm.
Shout out to my
Your psych professor.
I had a psych professor in 2018, and
Mhm.
and he was like this old dude, and he was telling us how he used to work at a casino, and for some reason he was talking about transgenderism and
All right.
whatnot, and
How does that get involved in a classroom?
I don't know, something about the psychological background of being or in the process of becoming a transgender person. But anyway, he was talking about how he used to work at a casino, and he was like, yeah, there was this like really hot girl that used to work there, and mind you, this dude's like almost 80 years old, and he was like, yeah, she was like smoking hot, and like all the guys wanted a shot with her, and then he was like, and then he was like, yeah, one day she was like, yeah, I'm a she said that she was a tranny. And then, but he would not stop talking about how hot she was. Now, I'm in the back of my mind all class long. I'm thinking like, did you fuck this dude? Like, that's what I'm thinking all class long. He's like, this guy fucked the dude, and
he's just trying to just justify it. Yeah, she's super super hot, bro.
He's like, you couldn't tell.
It's good.
I'm like,
it's good. I'll tell you what, the doctor. Oh my god, great job, fantastic. Everything seemed real. It's like, okay, but was it?
Exactly.
You know the answer. They just don't want to admit it.
He also said he used to do like meth to like study and shit. So,
bro, who the fuck says I'm gonna do meth and study? Nah, I'm gonna do meth and do some crackhead shit with my crackhead friends. Nah.
Yeah.
Also, who the fuck does meth? There's so many better options for drugs. Like we were talking about weed. Like, yeah, just do weed, do Adderall, Adderall for studying makes sense. Meth, how the fuck do you study on meth?
I don't know. I've never done meth. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Oh, all right. Well, we gotta. I think that's your next assignment. Get someone who's done meth on the show.
Yeah. We can. We're gonna go down to Kensington and pick up like 3 people off the corner.
The first 3. Damn.
First 3 people you see like just fucking strung out in the corner is we're going to offer them $10 a piece to come on the show and talk about their experiences as a junkie in Kensington.
It's like, oh, what have you used? Heroin. Okay. What have you used? Methamphetamines, heroin, Adderall, something called smack, and then, like whatever the guy gave me. That's speaking to the craziness of the minds, honestly. I don't understand people just like take random fucking drugs. Like at a part that shit scares me. That gives me anxiety.
I don't know. There's a limit to what I would try. I mean, I smoked a lot of weed, and I honestly can't smoke weed anymore. I've already told you this. I'm done. I can't do it no more. I'm tired of the existential dread that comes with smoking weed. Like, firsthand how bad that shit is for me. I remember. It's horrible, and I don't like it anymore. I wish I could go back to the days when I was fucking using, or let me not sound like a fucking junkie, when I was smoking weed normally and it was fun. And I think the last time I had fun while smoking weed was I had a party, 2017. When I was going to Widener. I was a senior in high school going to Widener. I was getting ready to go to Widener, and I was meeting up with people who were going to Widener too, like other freshmen. And I went to this one girl's birthday party, and we were smoking weed in a tent. Everybody was smoking weed in a tent in her backyard, listening to Sublime, and I was having a good grand old time.
That sounds like a grand old time.
It was fun, and except the fact that like a lot of her friends were younger high schoolers, and like they were like kind of like killing the vibe, but
just didn't know how to act. I mean,
yeah,
I feel
like remember at Mike's party that one asshole that was there. It was he was still in high school. We were all like
vaguely
or sophomores in college, and he was in high school, and he was like just talking shit. Oh, because we were playing beer pong. Josh and I were beer pong partners, and
okay.
But like I when I was growing up, and like when I was little, I always thought that like beer pong was played with beer, but people just drink whatever.
Yeah, you can do liquor. You can do,
people just
you can do
like,
whatever.
Whatever they're drinking is what you're playing beer pong with. It's not like in the movies you play beer pong and then like they actually drink out of the cups. Nobody drinks out of the cups anymore. It's just water.
Side.
They just put water in the cups. That's all. And
that's the trophy system of America right there.
And
that's what it brings up.
At that party, I had Jack Daniels in my red Solo cup, and it was just Jack Daniels. There was no mixer or anything. And this other kid was smoking a wine. I was about to say smoking a wine cooler. This other kid was drinking a wine cooler, and he was one of the kids that Josh and I were going against in beer and pong. And it's not beer pong anymore; it's just pong. But and he had nerve to call me out. He was like, "Bro, you even drinking?" Because we whooped his ass. And I'm like, bro, I have fucking Jack Daniels straight in here. Like, this is just like you're drinking a wine cooler.
Yo, shit on Seagrams all you want. Them shits are good as fuck. I don't know what you're talking about. It tastes like soda.
That really pissed me off. So,
it's it's just all perspective. You know what I mean? Like as long as everyone has a good time, ultimately, does it really matter?
Yeah, exactly.
For parties in general. I mean, I remember I didn't have the best night that night. I think I ended up smoking a cigar out and then just chilling with Mike. It was a good night. A good talk. No. The party that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
Wasn't. That was a fun party. I hope his parents go away again soon because I'm trying to do that shit again. So, Mr. and Mrs. Oster, if you're listening to this, please
shout out Mr. and Mr. Oster.
Just go.
I'll bring you some Pop-Tarts. I'll bring you the Pop-Tarts.
Go on vacation again, but I guess we should probably get into the main reason why I brought you onto this show in the first place, you fucking dirty nihilist.
To talk about poop again?
Yeah, to talk about shit. It's Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat shit in the box before he died.
Ooh, okay.
Did he shit in the box? Like, I fucking hate those questions.
Okay.
Psychologies are psychology questions are fucking dumb as shit. Like I really think they just make you think about
they're
that shit just to waste time. Like,
well, yeah, that's all life is.
if the
Wasting time
cat
till they're
dies in the
dead.
box, is he dead or alive? He's dead. That dude, the cat checked. He ain't alive no more. Like,
Well, on confirmation, he's dead. If not, then he might still be alive. You know what I mean?
and so it's like if a tree falls in the woods, but nobody's around to hear it. Did it really fall?
Yeah, it's just stupid shit like that. It's just kind of like not really. There's no real point to it. It's just.
Or
I think,
if we're all going to die, aren't we just already dead?
yeah, I mean, then you could ask the question: how are you ever truly conscious? And how do we know if we're conscious?
Which leads us into nihilism.
Hooray!
So
I love
go ahead and So you listened to my simulation episode that was 2 weeks ago. It went live,
Mm-hmm.
and you on Saturday night you sent me
Yeah.
a pretty long response. To,
Well, I was
to the
I mean,
episode.
I read a yeah. I kind of like chunked it down and just kind of just brought it to just my conclusions and to what I was thinking about it, because it really seems like with a lot of things, simulation theory, it sounds like strikingly similar. I don't get me misconstrued. Like, it sounds strikingly similar to religions, but that's all belief systems as a whole, I should say. Like, I kind of just view them as a coping mechanism for like life and then what happens after life, right? Can we at least agree upon that?
Yes, exactly.
I don't like I was trying to tell you, like, I don't really see it as inherently like negative. It's kind of cool, just to see another perspective, if anything. But what
your
else?
problem with it is the faith aspect.
Not necessarily. Right? I don't like. I'm open to most ideas. Like, my problem is, I mean, the thing that really struck the chord, like you were talking about with the speaker, was like, when we're not looking at our friends or our family or whatever, they don't exist, which kind of seems stupid to me. It's like, well, either we do or we don't, right? So why can't we just not exist?
Who doesn't exist?
What do you mean? Like, you guys were talking, or maybe I'm just misunderstanding it.
No, go ahead and who do you think doesn't exist? Like in the simulation theory?
Well, in the simulation theory, at least the speaker is briefly talking. I may be incorrect here. He was talking about how like because you said it scared you, if I recall correctly. Like,
what, the simulation theory?
No, the portions of it where you're talking about like, how are we truly real, or this or that, and then
yeah. So I think what you're talking about is so prior to that episode, was on Easter Sunday. The speaker and I had a conversation. We were talking for like an hour. It was like almost 3 hours. And this is so fucking weird. You're not gonna guess who just fucking messaged me.
Who?
The speaker.
Yeah.
If that's not evidence of a fucking simulation, I don't know what is. But
if I just heard his name, he's like, I
swear to God, he just messaged me on Discord. But anyway, we were having a conversation on Easter Sunday before we even recorded, and we were just talking about shit like that. And he was talking to me about 2001: A Space Odyssey. I haven't seen the movie or read the book. Have you seen the movie?
I saw it when I was in either high school or grade school, if I recall.
Okay,
but I don't remember much of it.
Basically, what he was telling me was about the computer. There's a computer system named HAL, and HAL didn't have compassion, and that's how, like, you can differentiate between that and AI. Between humans and AI is compassion in that movie. And I was thinking about that a lot. And then on Easter Sunday was the last time I smoked weed. I smoked weed and I started having bad existential dread once again.
Okay.
And my brother saw that I wasn't feeling well, and he was trying to comfort me. And one of the things, like, while I was having that existential, like, kind of anxiety attack, was like, oh, he's real because he's showing compassion, like the speaker said about Hal earlier, and that's all that was. But like, yeah, he was saying he believes that, you know, AI, artificial intelligence, people do exist in our reality, and I tend to think like, you know, I'm not all in on the simulation theory, but I do like believe in the possibility that, you know, AI do exist, whether or not it is a simulation or not. Like, for example, Elon Musk, that dude has to be an AI.
I think he's an alien personally, but you know,
he's not. I don't think he's human. I honestly don't.
Okay.
He's weird as hell.
Might be human.
But yeah, that's what the whole like existing like people who are real. It's more so about like people who might be like AI or who might actually be, you know, real. And when I think he believes, and I would believe that in the simulation theory, like if you're able to show truly genuine compassion, it would lead towards you being a human. Or
but
another person being human.
Yeah, but you don't think we can program like robots to show compassion? That's ridiculous.
I believe we're close.
No, we can definitely do it. I mean, with enough time and effort.
The thing is, like, I don't know. I feel like people who are spiritually woken up.
Okay.
I feel like that. Or not even just people who are spiritually woken up. Remember how I was telling you about how like certain people who we've hung out with, like I just get bad vibes.
Yeah,
not necessarily bad vibes, like, but like they might be like the greatest person in the world, but like they just seem artificial to me. They seem fake, like their whole personality just seems like something they created in order to fit in.
Sure.
And
I mean, that's all we're doing anyway.
And I think like if we can get those vibes and those feelings from people on a human level when they're real, when they're artificial, I think that those vibes are going to be easier to detect.
So
now people will still be fooled, I think, but
100%, because you're talking about vibes and you're talking about energies. Most people don't like. For me, like I remember when you first introduced me to the concept, I was like, I don't know if I fully buy into it. And you know, it's weird, but I mean, recently, and I've had experiences in my life where like vibes or just energies, like you can definitely feel it for sure. But are you making the argument that you're assuming that anyone that's in tune with spirituality or like a religious sense or something along those lines, or a deeper understanding or comprehension of the human experience, right? If we're going to call it that, is going to be able to distinguish between real and not real?
I don't, not that they're going to be able to, that it will be easier for them.
Oh, easier. Okay.
I think like if you surround yourself with what's the word I'm looking for here?
Words are hard. Take your time.
Words are hard. I had it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, if you surround yourself with a persona that is God damn it, what is that word?
A persona, that's a big word.
No. All right, so like if you surround yourself with a persona that's, you know, not really who you are. It's a very
talking about like a fake mindset. Yeah.
A very materialistic mindset. You want to have, you know, the nicest things, the nicest clothes, and you want to act like.
Just talking about the Hollywood mindset now, basically.
Yeah, the Hollywood mindset, exactly.
Okay.
You want to have that mindset. It's going to be easier for you to be fooled, right? If you're fake in and of yourself,
maybe
you're not going to be able to detect fakeness because you made yourself fake. Like you made that fake persona who you are. Then that's why so many, you know, quote unquote fuck boys. That's why do you think they hang out together? Why do you think that no cool dudes want to hang out with fuck boys? You know what I mean?
I mean, you could assume that for sure. I mean, like-minded people definitely not breed, but like-minded people definitely like reach out to each other for sure. I don't know if I necessarily holistically agree with that. Like, because I don't know, maybe it's just the personality that I am. Like, I have friends just in general. Like, I have been friends with fuckboys. I don't really care what kind of mentality you imply, as long as you're kind to me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I definitely think you can have tendencies of fakeness, as you're calling it, and as you're perceiving it. But I think it's also industry dependent. Sure, like I'm in sales, so there's a high level of fakeness that you have to present to a customer, right, in order to make a sale. A high level of, we call it professionalism. In Hollywood, it's like a fake it till you make it mentality. So I'm not trying to like really defend it a whole lot, but I definitely understand it. Because I mean, there's people in my life that I know that I can take a look at. It's just like they're faking it because they either aren't sure about themselves or just aren't comfortable enough with themselves. So that's why I don't really like. Because do you believe? I mean, let me ask this question: do you believe that like these people that are you're saying fake, like, are always going to be fake, or do you just think like it's just in that moment? Because there are people
I don't
like,
think that. I'm not saying like people don't have the ability to change or wake up and find who they really are. I'm just saying once you're in that that mindset, it's hard to get out, right? It's
well,
hard.
yeah.
What if you're surrounding yourself with materialistic friends? You get your trophy wife, and she's the classic who's in it for the money, and that's not always the case.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, giving you like clear-cut examples of things that generally happen. Like, so you change who you are to fit in with the it crowd, the popular kids in high school or whatever. You change.
I mean, never was popular in high school, so sure.
No, not you in general. But I'm saying the people who are fake and have these fake personas and these fake
you don't think they just haven't really maybe it's just they don't get it, or maybe they're just trying to do something that ultimately is going to fail and we can see it and they don't, or maybe they just haven't got good enough of faking it yet. You know what I mean? I mean, like, when you think about like bringing confidence into this scenario, like confidence, and if like you've done a lot of self-growth, I'd say recently, and by recently I mean like since I've known you, so you can attest to this.
Yes,
because a lot of it was physical, but a lot of it is mental. Like, life is a mental game, right? I mean,
well, physical. I'd say mentality and physicality are probably just one of the many yin and yangs. Of life. I mean, yin and yang is like I'd say one of the most important concepts.
Oh, for sure.
The balance. In having a healthy life is like.
You can't. It's I don't know if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson, but his entire
very
book
familiar with Jordan Peterson.
Okay, well, I know you don't really care for him, and I know you don't like him, but I
just don't like that he thinks that IQ is attached to race, and
I mean, maybe he thinks that because statistically it's true. I don't know.
But then again, who's making the statistics?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
If the highest paid scientists in the world are I'm going to say the J word, Jewish.
Just say it. Ooh.
And then
that's a big word.
If the highest paid scientists, the top ranked scientists are white or Jewish, right. I say white or Jewish because I classify Jews as just white people. We can get into the whole biblical.
Yeah, I remember.
That's another episode. But the bottom line is, Jews who came from Europe. Therefore, they are white. That's why they have white skin. So he talks about how Ashkenazi Jews have the highest IQ rate, and it's not like astronomically higher, but it is like, I think it's like 1 or 2 standard deviations above the normal IQ. But my whole thing is like, well, that's just white people. Like, it's not like Jews are smarter than everybody else. If they came from Europe, they're white. You know what I mean? Ashkenazi Jews came from Europe.
Okay.
So they're not it's not like there's some separate race, some biblical race. They're not. They just came from Europe. Ashkenazi Jews are a group of white people who converted to Judaism.
Yeah, so they're Jewish by faith alone, not necessarily skin tone or ethnicity.
When Peterson, it really pissed me off that he says that, like, Jews have the highest IQ. Well, he specifically says Ashkenazi Jews, and Ashkenazi Jews are Jews from Europe. Well,
yeah.
How can you say that, like, that's a race? It's not a race, because that's a group of white people who converted to Judaism, which was founded by brown people. And
did he say it in the attempt to separate from
in his defense,
the Hebrew population?
He wasn't being hateful, and I've never gotten the vibe from Jordan Peterson that he's a hateful person.
No, I don't think he is.
And then I also don't like how he doesn't believe in
in what specifically?
Not necessarily. What the fuck am I about to say here? White privilege. White privilege doesn't exist.
No, white privilege is real.
He's like, I watched him a whole lecture he did on why white privilege doesn't exist, and he said basically what he says is that it's class privilege. It's not white privilege. It's class, or it's majority privilege. I'm sorry, majority privilege. Majority privilege, not white privilege. It's majority privilege, and in a sense, he's correct. And I wrote I have an article on my website, ramblingmadman.org. I posted it at the end of Black History Month, talking about this. It was the reason I wrote that article is because
finances.
I watched that video, and it just doesn't sit well with me that you say, well, it's not really white privilege, it's majority privilege. And in a sense, it's true. It is majority privilege, because white people are the overwhelming majority of people in the United States. Just like in China, the Chinese people are going to be treated differently than white people and brown people and black people. But nonetheless, America isn't China, right? America is the melting pot.
I really hope it doesn't become it.
America is the melting pot.
Yeah.
America isn't Africa, because we're not an ethno state. We are the melting pot. So, but why is it that certain groups of people have always been at the bottom? And my whole thing is like, there have been specific things, big things that everybody knows about, and things that fly under the radar to keep black and brown people at the lower echelons of society.
No, there definitely are. 100%.
And things that are going on today. And like,
they haven't stopped.
One of the biggest things that boggles my mind, like one of the most racist things to ever happen in the past 40 years.
Okay.
The crack trade, the crack epidemic.
Okay. You're talking about when
the CIA
or the FBI
introduced
to the public?
Crack cocaine to black communities.
Yeah.
They got black communities hooked on crack cocaine. So let's just stop there. How many lives have been lost in the black communities because of crack addiction?
Countless.
Just crack addiction alone. All right, then not only did they introduce crack to the black communities, they started the Crips and the Bloods.
Did they really?
They did. They started the Crips and the Bloods. They started all types of violence in black communities in order to sell the crack, and then they used the money that they made with the Crips and the Bloods selling crack.
To fund government campaigns or something?
No, not campaigns. To fund Nicaraguan terrorists.
Oh, Jesus.
In South America. You ever heard of the Contra operations?
Nope.
Well, look into it.
But I'm sure you're gonna tell me.
Look in Google or go on DuckDuckGo and search Gary Webb.
Huh. I gotta log into my phone real quick.
Gary
I do
Webb,
have DuckDuckGo. Download it.
Gary Webb was the journalist who exposed all of this. Do you want me to tell you how Gary Webb died?
Was it a Clinton attack?
It very well might have been the Clintons that killed him, but Gary Webb died.
Suicide is what it's officially listed as.
But do you know how the suicide happened?
As a result of exposing light, I'm assuming, on the terror attacks. That would be my best guess.
Gary Webb shot himself 2 times in the back of the head.
Why the back? You don't normally shoot themselves in a template from or temples or
how many times can you shoot yourself? He shot himself twice in the back of the head.
How the fuck does that happen? Does he like rig a contraption just like, all right, bang, 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 only twice? Like,
But so, and not to spiral off topic here, the
we already spiraled off topic. It's fine.
we did. We went way off. somehow I fucking went from talking about nihilism to talking about the fucking Jews to talking about crack and Gary Webb. But
oh, said the J word again. Get him.
But God damn it. So going back to the point of the Jordan Peterson and
we're talking about yin, yang, and chaos.
I don't agree with Jordan Peterson on race, especially because he doesn't believe that white privilege exists. And I
100% does.
I don't necessarily believe that. Maybe it's not white privilege, but things have definitely been going on and are still going on to keep black and brown people at the lower echelons of society. And
definitely.
And that CIA shit, that's one of the things that pisses me off the most because so many people don't know about it. So many people don't know about it. And
well, there's a phrase. There's a phrase I'm going to say that's going to piss you off. Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
No one wants to know. We want to live in a happy society and keep us down. There's it's interesting because I was just watching. I mean, I love Rick and Morty. So I was watching a video that was explaining like a lot of like how like I don't want to say self-awareness and intellect, and how the more you know, typically the less happy and the more lonely you are. Which is it's funny because it seems like the more you learn about like what either the government's doing or like you take big pharma or like big companies or foreign governments or anyone is doing to keep and hurt, well, anyone in general. It just seems to depress people. I mean, you think about it, like think about like what our society as a whole does. They try to, because there are the professional terms that they went over in the video, which I found really fascinating. But there's like a submissive population, and then there's like a dominant kind of population, basically. So the government and a lot of what if you're going to look at propaganda, or if you're looking at whatever, it's trying to keep people just kind of happy and mundane and just go through their day-to-day life like nothing's going on, so that they can either sneak in their bullshit or do what they have to do behind people's backs. That's kind of how I view politicians in general, which is why I don't trust the majority of them. Yeah. But it's interesting that it follows into to conspiracy stuff and just truth seeking as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, definitely. So
it's
going back to fucking nihilism here. Here's
the statement I wrote down. Mindless acceptance is killed when you open your mind and question everything.
Mindless acceptance is killed when you open your mind and question everything.
That's what I wrote down after watching some of these videos. But yeah, continue with what you're saying.
No, that makes mindless acceptance is killed when you decide to question things and
question everything.
Here's a little like Schrodinger's cat.
Okay.
I would think that mindless acceptance would have to be killed before you start questioning things. Questioning everything.
Well, I'm saying it in the sense that it's not killed until you start questioning. It is when you question everything that it begins to be quelled. Like ignorance. How do you kill ignorance? You teach. How do you get rid of hatred or racism? You educate. You eliminate that fear. Like racism is not innate. If you take any baby and you show them an African American guy, Asian, someone from Asian descent, someone from Native American, someone from Indian, Filipino, like whatever the fuck, doesn't matter. And you brought them all together. They're kids. They're not gonna fucking know better.
No.
They're and I love how I said no. I didn't mean it as I meant more so like they don't no racism. Is like it's all love and peace. They want to play and like because there's certain things in life that are innate. You know what I mean? Like it's innate to want to seek out companionship. It's innate to want to seek out friendship and joy and happiness. And just it seems like again racism and hatred and it's all taught. It's not.
Well,
You can
yeah.
unteach it.
See, what I've always thought about racism, or not, maybe not always, but recently I've been thinking about this. One of the very direct definitions of racism is the belief that each race has distinct and intrinsic attributes.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I mean, every race or creed. What? Oh, tell Nick I said what's up.
All right, I'm back recording. So we said, yeah, the one of the very I lost my train of thought there. One of the very bare bones definitions of racism is the belief that each race has distinct and intrinsic attributes. So so if you believe that, like we said earlier with the IQ thing, that Jews have a higher IQ and that and that blacks are bigger and stronger and faster and that all those different attributes that are attributed to different races. If you believe in that, then that's considered wrong. And I think that we shouldn't consider that wrong. That we shouldn't be trying where the hatred comes from, I believe, is that we try to make it seem like we're all the same. We try to act like we're not different. And we are different. We are physically different. We aren't Neanderthals anymore, right? We aren't barbaric tribes. So back when there were barbaric tribes, when people looked different, you killed them because
talk about evolution.
If you didn't kill them, they were probably going to kill you.
That's just them's the rules, you know what I mean? Like
that's the barbaric principles, right?
Yeah.
But now, it's the 21st century. We have evolved mentally, physically.
Sure. Some of us.
We still have those same attributes.
Yeah.
But we're smart enough to know now that we can coexist, right?
Well, we definitely hope we can coexist. I mean, we definitely can.
We can.
I just think we're failing.
We have a society that forces us to focus on our differences.
Well, yeah, everything. I think we talked about this both.
I mean, not to focus on our differences, but to act like we're the same. Like I hate.
We're not.
We should be celebrating. I don't see color. Like really?
That's bullshit.
Like
of course you do.
Like that to me, it seems like when you try to treat everybody as if they're like the same, you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to treat people on a different level of decency. That's not what I mean by the same. We all deserve to be treated decently.
I'm just gonna treat everyone the same. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. I don't care.
That's on a decency standpoint, right?
Yeah.
But for example, there's a reason why professional sports are dominated by African Americans.
Okay.
That reason?
What's the reason?
Why is one of the highest paying professions in America dominated by African Americans? Because they are bigger, they are faster, and they are stronger than us.
Genetically.
Than the other races. That's why they excel at professional sports. And there is nothing wrong with that. That if you want to be entertained, which is what sports are, don't you want the biggest, the fastest, the strongest people to be doing what it is? It's like if you go to the Colosseum,
the movies
in Rome, you want to see like a fucking weakling trying to kill a lion, or do you want to see like a big buff like ripped dude with a sword, trying to kill a lion? Because
no one does.
The chance that he might do it.
Well, no one wants to see it. It's the same like movies and TV shows and everything. You don't want to see something that's like completely mundane. Like you're not gonna go watch. You're not gonna go watch someone do their job normally. Like take a
No,
cop.
exactly.
You want to watch all the corruption. You want to watch all the shitty days that they go through. Like you want to see basically the highlights. It's just like watching sports. Like no one cares about like if you're gonna look at baseball. Like, oh, he grounded that play perfectly. He was an out. Like that's not a highlight. No one gives a shit. The grand slam, like that's the highlight. That's the clip. Like that's the thing. That's the thing everyone cares about. I mean, you can look at it as like the it's funny because the attention spans of Americans and I think of the world in general like is so short. It's funny. Like you ever heard of spotlight syndrome? Or not spotlight. Not spotlight. That's a different thing. Shiny object syndrome. That's how you can describe the majority of like people. Like we're only realistically focused on what's new and what's hot and what's in the public's eye. So I mean that explains a lot of our culture when you think about it. Like we're only focused on the next big thing. Like new is always better. It's like, okay, great. So I don't know where I was going with this. I find it interesting. I also find it fascinating how like there's while you have those, you also have movements within either like artistic communities or whatever, where people are talking about how like old is the new, or like new or old is the new. What's old is new again. There it is. That's the phrase. Like when you get things that weren't in style that are now back in style. Like I don't know, it's cool to me. But that's not even related to the topic we're talking about.
Sorry, but yeah. So basically, I don't quite remember how we got on the topic.
Off
race,
track.
But I know it was Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure how we got to me talking about athletes, but
we were talking about like yin and yang.
Let me just summarize what I've said.
Mm-hmm.
We are different. The races are different. There's a reason. There's a reason for us being different. There's a reason why Asian people have slanted eyes. There's a reason why why different races had different things, and that doesn't mean that it's bad. And we need to accept the fact that we are different. If we accept the fact that we are different,
our differences.
We should celebrate our differences. For example, Dr. Seuss, the book. Why did Dr. Seuss get canceled all the fucking time? I don't know. You know the book. And to think I saw it on Mulberry Street. You know why they canceled that book?
No, why?
Because there's a Chinese person, a traditional Chinese person in the book, and he has slanted eyes, chopsticks, and a conical hat. So they canceled it because there was a Chinese person in the book, basically. Because traditional Chinese people don't exist. It's not like he was saying, ching ching chong, ancient
just
Chinese
really,
secret.
like,
It wasn't being racist about it. He wasn't joking. Dr. Seuss was never mean to anybody except his wife. He was pretty shitty.
Well, you ever see the meme? One wife. What is it? One wife. They're the dead wife and then the new wife. How's that fucking meme go?
But in his books,
yeah,
he was never mean to people. He never bullied people in
No,
the books.
he made
Just
fucking
because
children's stuff.
just because there was a Chinese person illustrating his book who had chopsticks and a hat on doesn't mean that he's racist. Like, it just means that Chinese people exist, and that's what he put in his fucking book. like I had a class, and they were trying to tell me that Breaking Bad is a racist show. This is a college class that I was in. Breaking Bad is racist. You know why? Because they have Mexican drug dealers in the show.
What?
So my response was, what about the old white dude who makes the meth?
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Also, how is it racist?
Because the whole thing was, well, why couldn't they just make the drug dealers like a different race? Well, isn't that racist to the other race? Like, it just...
that just sounds like SJW
like that's the type
bullshit.
of shit that goes on at college, and like that's why I don't want to go back to college. Like, I'm not paying going in debt thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to come out and get a job making
For you to
$20
teach me your
an hour.
fucking political views.
Make-
Yeah, I don't get that.
Like, I'm not dealing with that bullshit. And like my response was, well, like my favorite show of all time is The Sopranos, right?
I know.
Sopranos is a show about the Italian mob, a family. It's about the Italians and the mob.
Yeah.
That's fucking racist, isn't it?
Apparently,
if we're going by their standards,
it mentions Italians.
if we're going by their standards,
exclusively.
like that's just painting Italians in a bad light. Well, no, it's not racist because it's real, and that shit happens. That shit exists.
I mean,
the mob exists. Mexican drug dealers exist. The cartel exists in New Mexico.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm just really offended that the mob isn't doesn't have more African Americans and more diversity in it. More those of Asian descent.
To be honest, there is a bit of racism that goes along with that because to be fair,
yeah,
if you're not Italian, you cannot be made. So,
well, yeah. Well, 100% Italian, I believe, is what I learned from watching.
I think there was like one person who was made under
mob movies.
Under Nicky Scarfo, made him. So basically, made him a member, and
yeah,
he had Irish in him, and I
Really?
can't remember if the dude was killed or not, but it's in the book Mafia Prince about Phil Leonetti. Phil Leonetti was Nicky Scarfo's nephew and underboss. And the book is fucking tremendous, and I definitely suggest you read that because I love reading about crime. Like The Irishman, I read I heard you can pay
the book, not the movie.
I read the book and then I watched the movie, and
still haven't finished the movie.
It's great. It
was fantastic.
I love the movie, but the fucking CGI in it that they use to de-age Robert De Niro, it fucks with me. Like I just think like they should.
You can't suspend your disbelief.
No, because you can still tell he's old as hell.
Oh,
like
I guess I don't really.
I feel like if why not just have a younger person play the younger him? It's not like he. It's not like he looks.
That's why.
It's not like he looks like he does. He looked in the. Okay, Godfather Part 2, he had a big role in that, and he was in his 20s, I think, and that was in the 70s. Yeah, so like it's not like he looks now like he did when he was 20 years old in Godfather 2. Like you could have just got somebody else to play him. Like it's just
yeah, but it's like when you think of like mob movies and you think of like shit like that, you think of De Niro. Like that's the guy. That's the guy that brings in the audience.
But
that's the guy that gets
the audience
views.
is going to the De Niro audience is going to be there no matter what, even because he's old. He's in the movie, so they're going to show up.
Well,
no matter what.
But it probably wouldn't have gotten the same reviews. I guess that's what someone that was making it would think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't make those decisions.
Analytical people, fuck them. Analytics ruin everything.
Yeah, man, the creative vision over everything. I was a firm believer in that for sure. But did you want to actually talk about what we were talking about, or
we've been here? How long have we fucking been here talking about this shit?
I'm off. I don't give a shit. We talk about whatever you want.
So we started talking about nihilism, bro, and
yep.
I honestly I don't know how
I didn't really dive into that. I mean, I can. It's pretty fucking easy. I mean, I was talking about Jordan Peterson. I never really finished my point, so I'll finish.
All right, go back and talk about. Finish your point on Jordan Peterson, if you will.
I'll talk about like a lot of what his book is talking about. Is talking about you mentioned yin yang, order and chaos. You can relate that to pretty much everything in life. You need a proper balance to, have order in your life, create meaning, whatever. He mentions that. That's basically the entirety of my point. Like that he was talking about it, which I found really, really cool. So yeah. Did you still want to talk about
Jordan Peterson, yin and yang?
Yeah.
And to be fair, Jordan Peterson is an incredibly well-spoken individual.
Oh, yeah. Highly intelligent.
He's obviously very well-read, and he knows his shit. But, analytics, analytics are...
numbers.
Numbers and,
applied numbers.
So, for example, in the sports world, the sports industry is being ruined by analytics. So like, so for example, in baseball, the analytical managers say like it's better to strike out more because it means you're going to hit more home runs. But in reality, it just leads to a more boring game and people aren't watching baseball as much.
Because it takes the soul out of it, is basically what you're...
Exactly. Yeah. Or with the Eagles, like, the Eagles have this guy from Harvard, and he's basically just like the analytics manager. Harvard. And his job is to like study like the statistics and everything, like down to the nitty gritty. And then he makes his suggestions on who the team should get and what the team should do, like how they should play. But it's just never.
Why do you hate that though?
Because it never works out. Like it's just like analytics is like trying to force something
that isn't going to happen, which is the fakeness that
it's
we were
like
talking
trying
about
to
previously.
Force something based on
I looped it back.
It's trying to force something based on what you think should happen, based on because not what makes the most sense isn't always the best route. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, no, 100%. There's also something to be said about like a lot of times in life you need that chaos. You need that in the moment kind of.
Exactly. That's the human element.
Exactly.
Like making decisions on a whim. Like this fucking podcast is a banger. This episode is a banger. You know why? Because I just pulled this shit right out of my fucking ass. That's why.
Yeah, dude.
Not because like I cannot. So many podcasters would be like, "Well, I have my show notes ready and like I'm reading." I can't do it. I'll tell you this right now. Never will I ever read from a script on this show. It's I think I would be doing a disservice to the listeners everyone. And to myself because it's just not natural. You just go with the just go with the
dude,
flow.
We're here to have a fucking conversation.
Like I was originally planning an episode on Epstein this week, and then I had the bright idea. I called you while I was making a delivery today. I was like,
which I was grateful for.
Yo, come on the show and we'll talk about what we were talking about in text message. And we were talking about that, to be fair, and we did spiral off to racism and Jordan Peterson and Chinese people with slanted eyes and Dr. Seuss. But that's just a conversation. Like that's the whole point because I want this show to be natural. I don't want this show to try and be something that it's not.
I think like that's a great outlook for just life in general. The second you stop like or love or just anything, it's the second you have to force it, it's just shit.
It is. It is, and to be fair, I'm not saying I never take notes when I'm doing episodes on like serious things. I will take notes, but I'm not like sitting there, planning everything out in my head. Well, I got to say this at that point, and this and then, and I got to have these notes, and I got to say exactly this, and it's just like I have notes. I have a notebook that I was taking notes yesterday on Epstein and shit. I have a whole page of notes on Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend, and like I have and shit like that. But like that's just there like. For me to refer to if I need it, according to the New York Times or I'm sorry, the Yahoo News, Ghislaine Maxwell isn't cleaning her cell or flushing her toilet and her and stuff like that. So that's actually one of the things that came out is
that's some really fucking weird news.
Because her lawyers tried to say that she is living in very poor conditions, and and the response from the jail was that she's been told numerous times to clean her cell and flush her toilet and she won't.
So you're talking about rich assholes lying. Shocker.
Yes. And I'm not getting started on Epstein today.
Let's not do that.
I'm not doing Epstein today, but I will say it does piss me off that, the biggest things that are coming out of this Ghislaine Maxwell trial.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so what I'm about to say that they said Epstein did, it's wrong that he did this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning this, but it goes deeper than what I'm about to say. So the biggest thing that's come out so far in with her is that she forced a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old girl, I'm sorry, to have sex with Epstein.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm not saying that's right. That is absolutely 100%
that's really fucking
wrong. That's
bad.
fucked up, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. That doesn't touch like that's just like the tip of the iceberg. This isn't about
what?
Epstein. This isn't about Epstein. This is the first court findings that came out.
Yeah.
Said that he was trafficking children for sex to top CEOs, business executives, politicians, all around the world, dude.
Yeah.
So
that
I don't
doesn't
want this
shock
to.
me at all.
I don't want this to end here. I don't want it to say, "Oh, yeah, Ghislaine was just procuring underage girls for him to have sex with." Nope, that's not where it ends. That might have been happening, but that's not where it ends. I want to know who these top people all around the world, these politicians, these world leaders, these business executives and CEOs, these actors, all around the world. Like that's what I want to fucking know. Don't tell me that Epstein was fucking a 14-year-old girl. That's horrible, but there's bigger shit that needs to be said. You're just releasing that shit because you don't want to expose the truth, which is that the whole world is connected to this shit.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't want to talk about Epstein today.
I realized as you started the rant, I was like, oh, here we go. But no, I definitely think no one's going to be brought to justice. And I can loop this back actually to any kind of religious tendencies if you want. That they're gonna get their just desserts, right? In maybe not in this life, but definitely in another one.
That's not very nihilist of you to say.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's not completely and utterly pointless, but it's also like life has meaning when you give it meaning, right? That's the answer to nihilism, essentially. If you really think about it, like if you keep going, like that's why I agree with you that I'm probably nihilistic and I definitely have nihilistic tendencies, but I don't think I'm fully nihilistic, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not fully nihilistic in the sense that I still want to give life meaning. Now I definitely struggle to give life meaning in a lot of times. But I mean, recently I've been doing a lot better. Just got to keep doing shit. That's all there is to it, and eventually something will work out.
Yeah,
that's it. That's life. I mean,
life has. I'm telling you, life has meaning.
Oh, well, I never said it didn't. I just said if you go from the perspective that nothing is meaningful, then you can create and establish what is meaningful to you. Like add your own meaning.
That's true. I mean, it's kind of like something I believe in a lot is in order to learn, like the natures of your reality.
Yeah.
You have to first accept that you know nothing, right?
Oh yeah.
And that goes like spiritually and materialistically as well, because we know nothing. This is a conspiracy theory here, big shocker, but everything we've ever been taught in school in regards to our reality has either been fabricated or is a complete lie.
Okay.
So we know nothing. We know nothing concrete. Have you ever heard of Tartaria?
No, it's Tartaria.
Tartaria is something that I'm extremely fascinated in. It's something that I've just recently started looking into. It's the belief that history as we know it before about 300 years ago is actually 110% completely different than what we've been taught. And it's like going into like nations that don't exist anymore. Like there's a buddy of mine.
Well, history is written by the winners. You're talking about lost history.
A buddy of mine named Jack Allen. He has a podcast called Conspiracy or Just a Coincidence. He just did an episode on Tartaria, dude, and he had a tremendous guest. I'm gonna see if I'm hoping I can get the guest on here.
Okay.
Talk about it, but the dude was absolutely fucking tremendous, and it was the most fascinating shit I've one of the most fascinating podcast episodes I've ever listened to. And I to all the listeners out there now that are listening to us ramble on here, and and to you, John, I'm going to send you the video, and I also want you guys who are listening to go on to search wherever you listen to podcasts. I listen to him on Spotify. Conspiracy or Just a Coincidence on Spotify. His name is Jack Allen. He has a tremendous show, and his episode on Tartaria that came out this past Thursday. It's one of the best fucking podcast episodes I've ever listened to. This guest that he had on is just tremendous. And yeah, I keep fucking spiraling here.
Oh, I can tell. It's all good.
But,
well, I mean that's very
yeah,
similar
we have to going back to
Lost
Tartaria.
Civilizations.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned Tartaria is because there's this whole conspiracy theory based on like we know that we know nothing, but beyond 300 years, we know absolutely nothing because we've been lied to. And basically the idea is that Tartaria was this kingdom that was fucking basically like a barter king. Like that kingdom that was in Game of Thrones that they didn't have money? Where there was that black dude, the black dude tried to marry the Khaleesi.
Oh, you're talking about the riders?
I think. Remember, she got her ship from there. One of her ships. She got something.
Oh, you're talking about like in the first season?
Yeah, it's like the first or second season when the dragons were still babies.
Yeah. You're talking about the guy that played the guy from Atlantis. I love that dude. I fucking
the black dude, right? He's chubby.
I think we're thinking of two different things. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The city that didn't have money and they traded and stuff. And they weren't
only in trade. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to have weapons or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's
such a fucking weird concept.
But that's what the conspiracy. That Tartaria, this conspiracy theory is that there used to be a massive like country that was like this. That was exactly like that.
Really?
Yeah, and like they were so successful, but they weren't looking to, be powerful. They didn't want the people who it was just run by the people. It was a very like almost communistic, communal, not communistic. People get confused when I talk about communism, but it was like communal,
like a
living.
utopian society.
Like a utopia,
kinda.
yes. Like
sure.
Shocker, the utopia society is a communist society.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. Take that as you will, but the conspiracy theory is that this society existed and that people got greedy and they like wanted like world domination and they fucking like erased all records of this country or this empire ever existing because of
You're talking like basically Atlantis, but
yes, pretty much. I think Atlantis is a part of Tartaria, the conspiracy.
That'd be cool.
So I'm gonna continue to look into it, but you got to definitely check out that episode and going back into it, we know nothing, and that's the whole thing. Is like in order to really grow as a person, you have to accept the fact that you know nothing, and
100%.
I think that's very important in
Well, in general, we know nothing, and I mean, like when I texted you to loop it all the way back, I guess. One of the points I made, if I recall, and let me see if I can scroll down. You don't like reading off stuff, but my memory is shit, so let's read it off. This is kind of basically describes my faith system, I guess. First name. Do you remember specifically what I can say? I'm trying to find it in the text. Basically on how doesn't I'll paraphrase from what I exactly said. No one really knows what's happening with life, with death, with religion, with whatever. We all have our beliefs and we have our opinions and we have our theories, but no one's truly gonna know, I guess, until we're dead. That's the ultimate truth in my eyes. So do with that what you will.
I mean, that is the ultimate truth. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
All we have is faith until we die, and then it's good luck, I guess.
Pretty much.
But yeah, that's true. But it scares me. I've never been like people always they're like, well, nobody knows, so just calm down. Like the fact that nobody knows scares me.
Well, that calms me, if anything. The fact that no one knows and we're all just kind of.
I struggle to find things that calm me. The things that calm, like I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever felt calm from my fears is when I was dating Vanessa. And
Oh.
all right, so
Mm-hmm.
for the audience, I haven't mentioned this on the show yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I used to be extremely fat. John knew me when I was extremely fat. I had weight loss surgery in March of 2020, so about 11 or almost not 11, almost 13, 14 months ago. March
Yeah.
5th, 2020, I had weight loss surgery. I had gastric bypass. I've lost total in my life about 200, almost 300 pounds. I think I'm at like 280, losing 280 pounds.
A fucking shit.
So don't get me wrong. I had weight loss surgery, which was a tremendous help in losing weight. But I also bust my ass in the gym 7 days a week. Like it got so bad. Like I was like so exhausted because I had gone like I think it was 20 days in a row and like sometimes 2 times a day. And like I was just fucking exhausted and beat. And it gets bad. But
Yeah.
I bust my ass in the gym because I'm never going to get back to that person I was before. So nonetheless, I've never had the opportunity with the normal teenage experience in regards to dating and stuff like that because I was always fat and I was always like not just fat but like super fat like and so when I started dating Vanessa over the summer, I've realized that I think it's the feminine energy that calms
There's definitely
me down.
something to be said about that.
And whether it has to do with my own issues stemming back from my mother,
Probably.
I don't know, but for me, the only thing that calms me down is fucking like it could be something as simple as driving in my car, holding her hand, and then like it just felt like.
Well, simplicities of life for sure.
Like I'm gonna reference two songs. There's a song by the Cars, the band The Cars. You know the song "You're Just What I Needed."
Just what I needed.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah. Well, the lyrics go, "I don't mind you standing. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time." So that lyric for me, when I was with her, like I always used to be. I'm always obsessed with wasting time. Like I know I told you, like I wake up.
That's all we're doing, dude. That's all we're doing in life.
It's true, but I wake up at the ass crack of dawn. I wake up at 4 o'clock. I go to the gym. I then I go to work, and then I come home and I work on the podcast or I do whatever the fuck. But I hate wasting time. If I sleep in past 9 o'clock, no. If I sleep, let's be real. If I sleep in past 7:30,
okay,
like I start having anxiety because I'm wasting time. I'm like I need to get the fuck up and do something, and. Like I just don't. I can't sleep in and lay in bed all day. It's just like I don't understand how people can do it. And but nonetheless, when I was with her, I would gladly waste all my time. Take all my fucking time. I don't mind. Like the song says, I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. And then like another song, I thought.
Yeah, because it wasn't wasting time in your eyes, basically.
I guess that's right. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I never really thought of it like that. I mean, it is wasting time, but it's not wasting time because I guess the definition of wasting time would have time's not wasted, I guess, unless you're not gaining anything from it, right?
Or if you're just not being fulfilled. But I mean, the thing I think I respect the most about you is honestly just your drive, dude. It's fucking infatuating.
Yeah,
it's also infective.
I wish it paid off a little bit more, but
yeah, because I struggle so fucking much to get the motivation to do anything. Like I've gotten like when I say better, I mean like within like the last month better. like mentally, it took me a long time to get a lot better and just gain motivation. I think I finally have started to gain traction. You just have to put one foot in front of the other and do it. But at the same time, I think that's why our relationship works so well because I'm just content doing nothing a lot of times, and you just gotta fucking do it. Like I'm a firm believer in taking a step back and enjoying the beauty of life, because I mean, like you never know how much time you have.
Yeah, of course.
You really don't. Like you could walk out and get hit by a fucking bus tomorrow. If my whole thought process behind a lot of it is like, yeah, you could sit there and work yourself to death, right? But I don't see the the point behind it. You should be wanting to fill your life with more meaningful, just either connections or whatever. But just working yourself to death, it never is like the answer to me, at least. It never has been and it never will be. Like, I respect the hustle, I respect the grind, but if all there is to life is doing meaningless tasks until we're dead, I don't want to be living.
I think that's where we like, I don't, my hustle, like, I don't like working. Oh, that actually, let me stop, because
I do.
To be honest,
time.
I do like working. Like, I like the mindlessness that comes with doing physical labor.
I don't. I like the
cutting the grass, like cutting the grass. I like cutting the grass because, like, I can just cut the grass and I'm focused on cutting the grass, and I don't think about anything else other than cutting the fucking grass, right? And
so it's
or
a
like
distraction.
shoveling snow. Like, I shovel snow. Like, I don't mind shoveling snow because, like, I shovel snow and that's all I do, and that's all I'm thinking about is clearing the fucking driveway, and that's my goal.
Yeah.
And like, there's
you
like,
get a sense of satisfaction and completion when you complete a task.
But like, as far as like, grinding your life away at a job to make some millionaire or billionaire richer while you get paid like, $10 an hour. No, I don't. Like I said, in the audience knows I quit. I quit that job at the transmission shop because the dude's a multi-millionaire and wants to pay me like I'm a fucking child. Like, it's just I don't understand how a millionaire who talks about nothing but the value of hard work will turn around and pay you like a child for your hard work. And you're
again, it's just all talk, man. That's
we're not going to get into Republicans here because this has been a long ass episode. But so yeah, I guess I also wanted to say about. I said I wanted to talk about two songs in regards to
Vanessa.
In regards to Vanessa. So the first one was The Cars. I guess You're Just What I Needed. I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. So the second one is Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind.
I don't think I know that song.
Do 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 do. You know that song.
Do 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 do.
No, that sounds like Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it does. That's why I don't know it.
No. Everybody knows Semi-Charmed Life.
Just fucking sing it. Let's hear it. Sing it.
Well, we're gonna get
play that shit. I probably do. I'm probably just not remembering it. I don't remember names. Bro, I definitely know the song. I just don't. I'm terrible with names. I can't hear it.
Did it stop playing?
Yeah, it's not playing for me.
Zoom fucking notices when you're playing music and it fucking bleeps it out after. Did it start playing to begin with?
Yeah, it started and then completely stopped. There's probably like a filter on it.
Zoom.
What's it called?
That's some.
I'll look it up on
AI
Spotify.
Shit. Semi-Charmed Life. You've heard this song before. Like, everybody knows Semi-Charmed Life.
Third Eye Blind. Oh yeah, I know this song.
Okay, so one of the lyrics in that song is, "When I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be all right." Like, so like, that's the first. When I was with her, that was the first time I ever felt that way. Like, I could die.
But if you died, your life would be fulfilled.
It's not saying like, oh, I'm not with her anymore, so I'm suicidal. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, when I've always been so fearful of death.
Yeah.
And like, being with her, not even, you could be doing the most like innocent of things, holding her hand while walking at the mall, and it just made me feel like like this is. Did
good. It make you feel like you were like living life like it was real? It was tangible.
Like, it was real. Like
because I know you've had some like derealization, and I've told you I had
I've had derealization before, and it
took you away from it, or
it definitely took me away from everything. Like, I had no existential dread, nothing. You know, it was just like
Was it because you were living in the moment, or
I
you just don't
think
have
it
an
might have been,
explanation?
but to me, it felt like something more. It felt like oh, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what you've been searching all this time for the meaning in life or whatever, and
Yeah.
maybe in the moment it felt like, well, maybe the meaning in life is just to find the person who you just want to be with, who makes you feel good, who makes you feel like you could die and it would be all right. Like that's literally how I felt. Like I had no fear of death. Like if I died here, like
that was it. You were cool with it.
yeah.
That's such an interesting mentality, because I I get it and I understand it, like more so than I think you'll realize, but at the same time, it kind of it brings me back to a conclusion I had a long time ago. The only person that's going to make you happy in life is yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not happy first, how can you expect to bring happiness to other people and to the lives of others? Like if you think about just literally just physically, when you're in and I'm going to use an airplane analogy, when you have a crash or if there's an issue or you need oxygen, their literal instructions are to, if you have a kid, you help yourself first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can help your kid. But that goes to anything in life. How do you expect to help anyone or add real value to people's lives if you can't help yourself first?
Yeah, then it's funny that you say that, because that I as I look back on it, I think that's the reason why her and I our relationship ended, is because no matter how perfect of a boyfriend I was,
yeah,
it literally made her so upset to think
you still weren't happy.
That no, not that
Basically.
I was happy in the relationship, but to think that I could do all that and I could put forth all that effort and she's so emotionally out of touch and mentally not well that sometimes she's so depressed she can't even get out of bed in the morning when it's and stuff like that. I'm clockwork. I have I'm not necessarily a routine, but I have things that if I'm gonna for example, whenever I went to go see her, I never once showed up empty-handed. Not what I mean by that is every single time I seen her, I had a gift for her.
I don't know if that's cool and that's great. That shows that you care in a physical manner, but that might be something that she may not be comfortable with.
That's
how I
see
think
that. I see that now. I see that it wasn't that she wasn't comfortable with it or she didn't like it. It's just that it made her feel shitty about herself.
Really? Why?
Because she didn't reciprocate in the same way that I did.
So it's more of a one-sided relationship. Okay.
It made because she felt bad that I was able to put in so much effort when she didn't even have the emotional energy to give a fuck about herself.
Oh yeah, that's a fucked up mentality. I feel her more than I feel you.
I feel like it's just so shitty because in a sense we had a good thing going, and then
good for you. Was it good for her? That's my question to you.
It could have been.
Well, do you know? Did you ask? Or did you ask too much? You were was it good for you?
No.
But I am joking, but at the same time, I am kind of I'm trying to ask it.
For some reason, I'm fucking thinking about you know Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
You know the episode where George is dating the girl and she overreacts. She overreacts. She is hot, but she overreacts to everything. So he thinks she's faking in bed, and then he takes her to dinner, and she's eating the chocolate mousse, and she's sounds like she's having a fucking orgasm while she's eating the chocolate mousse, and he fucking starts freaking out because he thinks she's faking everything.
Is that how you feel?
No, I don't know why I just started thinking of that.
I mean, I could see it, yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, you talk about songs for your relationship. Do you know the Billy Joel song? I just want someone I can talk to.
Is that the name of the song?
That's the name of the song.
I don't think I've heard that one,
Thank-
which is weird because
I
I've heard
just
like
want
every
some-
song that ever existed. I
Or,
don't think
sorry, Just the Way You Are. Sorry.
Yes,
Just the
I
Way
do
You
know
Are
that
by
song.
Billy Joel. Yeah, that I can talk to just the way you are. Like that's basically how I look at like love and relationship in terms of what I want. Just literally haven't found, and I don't know if I ever will, and just come to peace with that, I guess.
Nope.
I mean, like it's
That's unacceptable.
yeah, sure. I mean, it's a very depressing
You're too
thought.
young to come to peace with that. We are
Bro, I came to-
21 years old.
Yo, I came to peace with death when I was like 15.
All right, well, that's
Like
very like,
true. Yeah, that's what happened.
you sound like a school shooter.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but I mean, there was a poll in my high school most likely to shoot up the school, and I was friends with the majority of the kids on the list. So
Yeah, that doesn't doubt me. I don't doubt that.
my response to that was like, I mean, like, yeah, if it happens, I guess guess it'll be good.
At least you'll be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're always friends. You always got to be friends with the weird white kid that doesn't talk to anybody, because if he shoots up the school, man, you got to be the one that fucking isn't killed.
Talks him down. Yeah, I mean, like I remember my uncle was a bartender in Albany, and he used to tell me about like a crazy guy, that like he was the only guy that he could talk to. I think there's definitely something to be said about someone that can talk to, well, pretty much anyone. I think that's where one of my strengths lies, and I'm trying to utilize it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I think we're both pretty good at talking to people. I like you don't like meeting new people as much as I like meeting new people.
Oh, I do. Just not recently, because my job entails like I meet like 50 people on a daily basis.
I don't know. I don't think your social energy is that.
My social energy hasn't been the same for like the last 2 years. Like it's because I don't know. I focus on a lot of other issues. I think a lot of isolation definitely hurt. Like COVID isolation, dude, sucks. Like it's rough. Like I always want to be doing stuff. That's why I was glad you reached out. I mean, I'm always glad to hear from people.
Yes. Speaking of being glad that I reached out, I do have to end this soon, because if not, this is going to be a tremendously long episode. But
I mean, so what?
but what I do want to say is I think you have a bit of a natural vibe in terms of like podcasting, and I do want to podcast with you more in the future.
Sure, whatever works.
I mean, like you just seem pretty comfortable speaking on recording, which not everybody does. And some people trying to force it too much.
First. I think once we started to go off topic, I was way more comfortable.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Because we don't try to be something we aren't here. We are just we're just two dudes talking. And when it's just me by myself, I'm just one dude talking,
Just some fucking crazy asshole online.
I'm just a rambling madman. That's all I am. Madman. Crazy guys on the street corner who are rambling to themselves and with
about the end of the universe and how
and shit like that, and or the junkies that are just like talking to themselves on the street corners. Like, they don't give a fuck about who's listening. And that's how we want to be with Ramblings of Madman. We want everybody to have the same crackhead energy and not give a fuck. And
either everyone's listeing or no one is. So fuck it. Who gives a shit? Say what you're gonna say.
Yeah, exactly. So in closing here, do you have any closing remarks that you want to put out? Do you want to? I do want to tell you that I've been thinking of an idea for this anime. So John and I have always been interested in writing a TV series. We had an idea that we started planning last year. I'm sorry, and we never did anything.
Last year, yeah.
We started planning Fried last year, which was going to be about two roommates in Philly who have a fried food truck, like fried chicken truck, and they also sell weed out of the fried chicken truck. It was going to be like a dramedy type thing. We never did anything with it. We still can in the future,
like a
to be
sitcom
honest.
for sure.
Yeah, kind of like a sitcom, like or like Dave, that type of vibe. But one of the ideas we had recently was to write an anime. And I had this idea. I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but
Okay.
I like this idea. Now, this is only one character that it's not an idea for an entire show, but this idea for this character who
Yeah.
he I want to say he always wears a headband, and like the kind of
All right,
headband,
bet.
you know my
I'm with
Rambo
it.
headband that I have
Yeah, I love the headband.
that I tie behind my head. It's always one of those headbands.
make Man headbands like the ramblings
I
head
should do that.
for real.
Yes, I should do that. That's a good idea. But the character, he always has a headband on, and that's important because. So as I was talking to the speaker, and I was talking to him about spirituality and shit. And whenever I get really in depth to spiritual discussions,
Yep.
my third eye vibrates, and I sound like a fucking crazy person here. But
what?
You know your pineal gland, your third eye in the center of your forehead.
My dick?
No.
Oh, that pineal gland.
So the pineal gland in the center of your forehead, where your third eye would be.
Yeah, I'm not in touch with that at all. I remember you guys talking about that.
It vibrates. It feels, or it either vibrates or it feels like somebody's pressing their thumb onto the center of my forehead. And when I try to meditate, it happens. And when I try, whenever I have spiritual discussions or when I'm having existential dread, it happens. So my idea for this character is that he is so in tune with spirituality that his third eye is constantly open.
Okay.
And he doesn't like it. It freaks him out because he can see things that not everybody else can see. He can see like just spirit realm shit. So he keeps his headband tied tight around his head because when he ties the headband tight around his head, it lessens the effects. Some of the spirit realm still seeps in, but for the most part, while it's tied tight, he can still differentiate normal reality from the spiritual reality, if that makes sense. And I want to make this character, go on a journey, or maybe not a journey, but like,
we need to have him do a hero's journey for sure.
Yeah, I would like to have him do like a hero's journey or like something where he's helping people and I don't know, but I'm gonna try to develop this character more.
I mean, that kind of ties into the idea I was telling you about. You remember I was talking about like the pill idea? Where have like something like I had two thoughts for like a story revolving around like medication that could affect the world or just like a trial. One was give like medication that gives people the psychological or not psychological, the physical ramifications of like completion. Like you know when you get like serotonin boosts and shit like that. Well, like when you complete a project. The other one was making it in touch with spiritual. So those could definitely do something with that.
We could definitely do that.
And did you want to do?
I'm going to workshop this character. Oh, go ahead.
Did you want to do a movie or a TV show? Because there's a show I actually just started last night. That's great. So far, it's Todd McFarlane's Spawn. It deals in a lot of like.
Is it an anime?
Like, well, it's a cartoon, but it's it's the same guy that draws for Spider-Man.
Okay.
it's his like own his series.
Oh, so it's not a Marvel.
It's self-owned. Yeah, it's owned by it's owned by him. It was made in the 90s. But it kind of dives into like it's like an SAS guy or like a top military like assassin. Dies and at the moment of his death makes a deal with the devil to see his wife again, and in like true like devil format he gets turned in like a general or something in like a demon army, right? Mm-hmm. And he gets sent back to Earth, but he's all fucked up in the face and stuff. It's really fascinating. It kind of like puts a You ever seen Lucifer? I guess is
The show?
the
No, I've
closest.
never seen
Yeah,
it. I've heard it. I've actually heard pretty good reviews about it.
yeah. I mean that takes a different approach. This kind of takes more like a standard good versus evil plot. But like the character design and the art and everything, it's definitely. I think we should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Definitely take inspirations from that.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way,
but
I'm
yeah.
absolutely fucking loving Vinland Saga. I'm
Oh hell yeah.
7 episodes in so far, and this is honestly it has potential to be my favorite anime. I'm not going to say that yet because Castlevania is fucking amazing, and if you haven't watched it yet, John,
I know
I'm going
I
to
need
beat
to.
you. I'm going to beat
I
your
started
ass.
this last night.
Like
I started this last night. Shiny object syndrome. Okay.
Castlevania is
I'm telling
so
you.
good. And the new season starts in less than a month, but there's not that many episodes in the first 3 seasons. I think season 3 has 12 episodes. Season 2 has 8, and then season 1 only has 4. So you can binge that shit. They're only like 25 minutes an episode. Binge that shit. Castlevania, hands down, the best anime ever created. And that's saying something because Castlevania came from a video game. So fucking check that out. I'm gonna finish with Vinland Saga. I'm trying to work my way through the Berserk manga, but it's just there's so many volumes.
There's a lot.
There's so much of it, and like I
you
want
like
to
a lot
watch
of
the anime.
nitty-gritty.
I want to watch the animes that they have. I want to watch them all because I heard not all of them are good, but I want to watch them all because Berserk is fucking amazing. It's brutal, and the manga is fucking so dope. And,
I've heard really good things about it. Yeah,
dude, it's amazing. And I also want to get into Goblin Slayer, and after I finish Vinland Saga, I'll read the manga.
I have some thoughts on Goblin Slayer, but that's
Don't
not there.
spoil it for me, bro. But yeah, we gotta get going here. I'm hungry as shit. I gotta go make dinner. And
let's go get some food.
It was nice having this rap session with you, homie. And
of course,
yeah, we're gonna get you on here quite a few more times. Don't you worry. But everybody, give it up for John. He was a tremendous guest on the Ramblings of a Madman podcast, and he will be back. And sayonara. See you.
Sayonara. My closing note is I've been playing zombies this entire time, and I'm on round 46.
You've been playing zombies while doing the podcast.
Yeah, here, I'll send you a picture.
Jesus Christ! What? This man is a jack of all trades, ladies and gentlemen. He is. Just tremendous. Thank you so much.
You'll
All right, and that about does it for this week's episode of Ramblings of a Madman. I really appreciate you guys tuning in for this one, and if you enjoyed the episode, please do like and share, or retweet, quote tweet, whatever, and spread this episode and the show out to a broader audience. If you see these posts on Facebook, please like and share them, or Twitter, retweet, like them. Every like, every share, every retweet, it really does a lot to help the show grow, and that's what it's all about, is growing together. And so I know this was a long episode, so I'm not going to ramble on here. Like I say every week, I want you to keep on keeping on. Remember that we're all gods out here, and have a wonderful day.